finding free EMPs anymore. And again, that was the big struggle. So it'll be interesting to see how Merit is able to potentially take up the reins of that Sombra if we see him pull out on it.
And Kenobi hit the nail right on top of the head, too. Needing a Widowmaker, needing a little bit more of a flexible DPS as well. And there he is. There's Merit. Former Kungdu Pantera and Griffin player Merit coming in for Lingon Esports and Huya making their Chinese Contenders debut here versus Phantom Wizards. Going to be on a mirror of a 3-2-1. Or not on a mirror, excuse me. They're going to both have that Sombra, but a 3-2-1 composition. A little bit more brawly versus Lingon Esports and Huya. We're here on a solo tank Orisa with J-Max, so they got a lot more pick potential, which you see right there. Sven could break out this fight very early.
And it's interesting to see Sven on the Hanzo as well. Again, most notably for his frontline kind of flexibility, but he's obviously able to find a lot of damage when is needed. And look at this, again, just finding tons of it. His Chaser also falls down, not having that Ana to support him. Pretty easy melt. And, well, again, this is just LGE, just taking them apart piece by piece. And this is where LG, again, has really been a shining star. When you're able to play together as a full six-man roster, you don't have to worry about outside flanks. You just play for the point control. You sit here, you get behind an Orisa shield, and you just continue to dominate.
And I like the swap that's coming through from Phantom Wizards. You're going to see the Moira dive tanks coming through as well. Destiny's still sticking on the Brigitte. One last ride, I suppose. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's going to be really hard to find value as the Brigitte needs to get into a brawling fashion. It's going to be really hard to walk up into the spam damage that you're seeing, and being able to deal with Merit in the backline might be the reason for holding on to that Brigitte. You're seeing the rockets just raining in from above, the angles from Sven as well, although they go down from VVV.
Yeah, nice little committal actually here from Phantom Wizard as they get the point without having to take too much damage from Kami. And now VVV looking to translocate for the hack, won't be able to get it. Again, J-Mac is really left without a paddle, and he's up a creek, really. And, you know, that's been kind of the other interesting thing as this fight dissolves in front of us is with this meta change, it really kind of feels like the support line, which we have praised so much in the past, is having a really tough time knowing how to either heal the front line or heal the DPS because of the split focus that kind of comes with the 2-2-2 style comps.
Yeah, and that's one of the beautiful parts about having triple support, which you see Lingon Esports and Huya going to be taken up as well. I mean, I suppose Sven playing the break here can be a double O fashion as well. You're going to get a little bit of frontline pressure. The EMP comes out pretty early there, finds 3.
Yeah, but it's not enough to find much of a follow-up outside of Amy, who does get taken down. Kami looking for the damage, has a barrage available, but you have to be very mindful of that defense matrix that could come through. Now the Coalescence and a counter EMP coming through for Phantom Wizard. Yeah, they're able to find the damage. The Supercharger is down, and Destiny will take care of that, but it's not before they lose their main frontliner and Chaser. And just like that, it should be a pretty easy cleanup from here. The barrage, do you even have to use this? I don't think you're going to need to, as there's just sheer raw numbers coming out for LGE. They will have to essentially flip this point back, though, because, again, this is great stall from PW, 60%, and still climbing the barrage gets used, but it only finds a mech. They have to actually commit also another EMP into the mix, so Merit just, he's able to farm these EMPs nicely, but again, the cleanup is not fully there, as this stall is incredible for Phantom Wizard.
Yeah, stalling out incredibly well, like you were hitting as well. The EMP was well timed, all things considered. Amy did use the sound barrier, so it was used to counteract it. I was going to go give a hard time over to Kami for using that barrage in the middle of that fight, but they're still here stalling. They are having such a hard time of just getting Phantom Wizard off this point. Look, they're still using ultimates.
Second Supercharger in this engagement. Second Coalescence. The Supercharger gets taken down once again. 92%. Nobody's able to find the eliminations, and you have to kind of wonder here, is the triple support not really giving them enough sustainable DPS to chew things down? Yeah, Orisa has constant DPS, but it's not all that impactful. Another barrage comes in, and VVV is having himself a Chinese buffet of what heroes he wants to play as he switches over to a Tracer for another EMP for Merit. That's 3 in that engagement. Finally, it looks like LGE will be at least pushed away as the overtime is about to come on through. And goodness, again, I just question the composition, Andy.
Yeah, no, the composition was a little bit of a questionable one. Lingon Esports and Huya, they have a composition that works really well when they're on the point and they're able to sustain on the point. But you have to be able to continuously have the tremendous focus fire as well, from the direct rockets, from hack targets as well. Obviously, it's a tall order to ask because when you're looking at the damage that's being outputted, you can pressure out Merit. It has to translocate away. You can pressure the airspace from Kami. And then not to mention, you have to also land those direct rockets, which is where you see this compositional swap being almost necessary. Lingon Esports and Huya are going to be swapping over to a 3-2-1 composition with Kami on the Zarya, Sven going back over to the Brigitte, and they're going to have the Discord Orb from Molly as well. Phantom Wizard going to be taking a turn for a little bit more of a stall-worthy composition, especially for Village on Nepal. It's a very enclosed point, so VVVV on that May. Walling off targets, slowing them down as well can make things a little bit easier for the brawl to come through for Chaser and 1010. Expect high impact to come through from both these Zaryas if they can get enough charge to do so.
And again, they're really just kind of capitalize on that last control. Again, if you don't have the supercharger up, where is your damage coming from? The answer was apparently nowhere. So now, as we get into this one, a different look for the frontliners, like you properly mentioned, Kami. He's been pretty consistent on his Zarya, but I will not lie when I said he's been a little bit unrehearsed on it so far this season. So this is definitely a kind of a throwback. And again, with a nice little boop from Phantom Wizard and Amy, they're actually able to take the contest away from Lingon Esports for the opening push. And once again, Phantom Wizard open up the point in their favor. Now they can just sit here and just play the delay game again.
Yeah, it's a great scout as well for Molly to go over to the Ana rather than rolling out with the Zenyatta. No divas across the board. Shut down the biotic grenade. Points Flop is actually going to come through. Lingon Esports are now in control, but we're still in the brawl.
Yeah, 100% charge coming forward. J-Mac with a pop down and Earth Shatter. Chaser, though, has been boosted up, and he's looking to just slap everybody in his face. He's also got an Earth Shatter of his own. And, well, Kami will lock some players in place with the Graviton Surge, but it's not enough to follow up on any kind of damage as Chaser's able to capitalize with the Blizzard in response for the counterattack, and Phantom Wizard once again control the point.
5 ultimates used from Phantom Wizard in that last fight. Lingon Esports and Huya are probably shaking their heads a little bit as well. So Molly's going to swap over to the Zenyatta after using the Nano Boost. I have that double defensive ultimate, the Transcendence, more than necessary so you can ban it against the Graviton Surge or the Blizzard from VVVV. You also have the Sound Barrier from Langsta to hopefully combat it against the Earth Shatter. Just got knocked on their back and taken a little bit of a dirty snow nap, if you will. But Sound Barriers across the board for both sides. Amy able to hide and gets the Sound Barrier off.
Merritt gets his first EMP off of the game, though. It finds 2. Not really the most valuable targets. Now, Phantom Wizard, another great ice wall comes in, and they're able to separate J-Mac out for the second time this fight. Again, just all the resources being funneled into taking down the Reinhardt, and it pays off. As, again, just high damage is 10-10 on the charge, and now up to 55%. And goodness gracious, again, Phantom Wizard are just manhandling LGE at the moment.
Yeah, they're really exploiting poor target focus from Lingon Esports and Huya. Even though the EMP comes through, you got to make sure that you're locking down the right targets. And, well, that can't be 10-10. It can't be Chaser. You really got to be able to bait out the resources from VVVV and being able to get that ice pick out early and then focusing them down. Either that or go work your way into the backline of Kato. But Destiny's right there to kind of tighten things up as well. And that's just the strength of the 3-2-1 composition that Phantom Wizard is playing.
And PW now popping the rally for the extra armor for now. They still have an Earth Shatter that could be potentially combined with the Blizzard. Another nice ice wall just to, again, give some separation and some extra time through. Here comes the Blizzard, but it's going to be Molly, like you mentioned, Transcendence, defensive ultimate, but Chaser's able to find a pin into Langsa. That's massive. So now all of a sudden, with only the Transcendence fading away, and you only have an Orb of Harmony to heal you, is LGE going to be able to stand up to all of this pressure that Phantom Wizard is bringing? Oh, a nice little EMP does come through for Merritt. He finds 5, and Chaser falls immediately afterwards. 10-10 would have loved to have hit the gas pedal on this Graviton Surge, but he's going to have to hold that for next fight.
Yeah, and well, Lingon Esports and Huya, they have their own as well. Look at that anti-grenade that's coming through. That was about to be the splitting difference from Kato landing his biotic grenades. The shielding not there for J-Mac. The cleansing bubbles from Kami not there as well. Like you said, a little unrehearsed on the Zarya roll, but when you have to play the mirror, you have to come out on the mirror. That's where we are currently on the patch until we are in the playoffs and the 2-2-2 roll lock comes in. But you got to be aware of it too. Kato was almost able to turn that fight on its head by an anti-grenade shutting down the healing from Molly's Transcendence, and that's how Langsa went down. They have no ultimates from the support lineup as well, so
nice
this Graviton Surge might be able to stick.
Yeah, there's no defensive ultimates here for LGE, and now J-Mac, he tries to hit a Shatter to counter, but he's going to have to fall back as the rally is the only real kind of part of the source of sustenance for the side of LGE. They're very close to getting the Sound Barrier. They will get themselves back up to full HP, and now there comes that extra shield to get to play. Keto able to throw away at least his Nano Boost, but again, Chaser doesn't really have the opportunity to make much worth out of it. He does have a Shadow ready to go. Gets hacked, though, so he's going to have to hold on to that for a small time, and oh, goodness. Again, Phantom Wizard allowed to just swing the point back in their favor. Transcendence gets used aggressively, and LGE, they will be able to swing things back into their favor, but it does cost them both of their support ults.
Sitting over here giggling because Langsa was able to boop up Chaser while he was mid-Earth Shatter animation, and then Merritt got the hack, so there was no hammer down for Chaser. That was just a very fun interaction right there. VVVV has the EMP as well. It does Merritt, so this is going to be a fight of the EMPs as well. You see Kami a little bit slow behind on 10-10's charge, so the Graviton Surge might be the splitting difference for Phantom Wizard to close out the map of Nepal. Lingon Esports and Huya are hoping that Merritt finds enough value with this EMP to set up J-Max Earth Shatter, so that way they can push it to Sanctum.
Oh, they both hit each other's backlines, but actually V misses just about everybody. They do take down Molly, but again, it was actually a more high-value EMP as far as targets that were connected with for LG, but they're not able to find any connections for eliminations. Kami finally able to help out to take down the counterpart in the Sombra. Graviton Surge, though, gets used for 10-10. No support ultimates here. J-Mac tries for the counter shatter, but oh my goodness, it's looking like a boxing ring here as 10-10 finds 3 left hooks to the face of LGE. And with that, Phantom Wizard cleans things up, and well, that's not at all what I think we expected. But again, as we get Kenobi back into the mix here, my first reaction just comes down to maybe just a lack of integrity in the composition from LG on the first part of Nepal, because again, their only source of damage was either Kami or a supercharger. Kami was finding small value from line of sight, and the supercharger was being focused down every time it was put in.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. There's something really weird about the way that LG, they look like a team that has only played this one game with Merit, right? I mean, for whatever, then this might be Hacker's last ride, but they've been playing with Hacker for a very long time. And this completely looks like they don't know how to play with Merit as well as they did with Hacker at all. Say what you will about Hacker, still one of the best Sombras in the region, if not the best coming into the season. And I think I saw 3 EMPs, 4 EMPs from Merit, no follow-up whatsoever from anyone else on the team. And if you're going to be playing this kind of EMP, live by EMP, die by EMP style, there has to be some sort of follow-up there, because last season, the real thing that LG had over everyone else after their EMPs was there was follow-up instant every single time. JMac was there, Piggy was there. They don't have that anymore. There's some disconnect between all of their players, and it's really hindering them. And they got 2-0 by Phantom Wizard. Let's just put that into perspective. Phantom Wizard is at the bottom of the table. They have not won a match yet, as we're going to see some highlights here.
Yeah, just think about that for a second. Just sit back in your chair, lean, and just think about it. But, that's the one thing in between Merit and Hacker that I've noticed so far is that, well, Merit is very quick to build the EMP, but the follow-up has to come through in one way or another, like you were so wonderfully mentioning, Kenobi. And that's just what a Hacker does really well, even when the EMP comes through, is that they're very direct and very accurate with their primary fire as well. Merit needs to show that much more damage if they want to find that much more value for Lingon Esports and Huya.
And touching on what Shift was talking about, composition choices, Sven really needs to figure out his hero pool. Like, we've been at this point with Sven throughout the entire season, where he's been flexing onto Orisa, flexing onto Brig, flexing on a D.Va, and their best look, in my opinion, going throughout the season has been when JMac is on the Winston and Sven is on the D.Va. But now he's on, they're playing solo tank with Brig as like a flex, like 1.5 tank kind of, and it's just not working out. So they need to really figure out what composition they want to run, because they look completely lost right now, and this is not looking good for LG and Huya.
Well, on the other side of the coin, Phantom Wizard, in their only 2 maps that they have won previous to this one, was against Team CC, also at the top of Group A. So maybe they are just the kryptonite, some of these powerhouse teams. I guess we'll take to find out. We'll head things to a break when we come back. Map 2, just after this. Celebrity, welcome back. I don't know if it's just secretly Phantom Wizard's birthday, but there's a surprise party happening so far in that first opening Nepal control, a 2-0 for P. Much to our dismay, at least so far. But again, maybe Phantom Wizard is just a kryptonite to these top teams. They took Team CC to Game 5 earlier this season in their only map wins so far, which again, we don't like to harp, to kind of hash out, but it merits being said over and over again, because it's just the simple fact of the matter when it comes down to it, Panda.
You're not wrong. And there's one difference that you have when you have a different damage dealer coming in for any team at a moment's notice. Well, you got to be working on the focus fire. Not saying that they're lacking damage, considering that they got 3 EMPs within about 30 seconds of one fight.
True.
But when the follow-up isn't there, when you're not following up on direct rockets from Kami in that composition specifically, you're not following up on bashes from Sven, and even when the supercharger was getting absolutely manhandled as well, so you're dealing with that as at the same moment in time, you have to rely on just core fundamentals of what Overwatch really is, of what any team-based shooter really relies on, and that's focus fire, especially when there's a lot of healing on the field. Let's not forget that there was triple support for Phantom Wizard on that specific map as well for both maps that were played, and you have to be concerned with that. To go back to a previous point that Kenobi was saying before we hopped over to our first break here, when JMac and Sven looked best was on Winston and D.Va. That's what I really appreciate from the composition that Phantom Wizard pulled out on Village with the Mei. Well, you're not diving that. I'm sorry. There's absolutely no way that you can absolutely be finding any value on Winston or D.Va. You basically need the shielding. You need the projected barriers from the Zarya as well to be able to try to cleanse out either the biotic grenades, stop the hacks from happening as well, and especially the freezing, the slowing down effects that Mei also brings to the table. Some patches ago, even when Mei is sitting there with the primary fire through multiple targets, can get multiple freezes going at once. And you can see that it's kind of a little bit of a scout coming through from Phantom Wizard. This is a very good look for them so far. Not saying that we would be able to see that coming through onto our next map, but especially where the meta has been heading. If you've been watching anything, if you've been playing competitive mode at home as well, you know that Mei is pretty darn good. Especially where you get the Orisa and Hog, the pulled pork, oink and yoink, whatever the heck you decide to call it as well. May's a really good DPS dealer to bring into those compositions and being able to both negate it and enable it all at the same time as well. The slowing down effects are very powerful, and you see that being able to go hand in hand all the way up to the Overwatch League, even for Reaper to come out to play as well. With the 2-2-2 roll-lock coming on the horizon for playoffs, this could be something that we might be seeing, maybe not from Phantom Wizard, but from teams yet to come, especially here in Chinese Contenders.
Now, it's important to notice that for LGE, they've pretty much cemented their spot when it comes down to making playoffs as a whole. Phantom Wizard has got no chance of making the playoffs, but this is important for seeding when it comes down to, where LGE would be situated at. Obviously, we're expecting them to still win this matchup, just maybe a hiccup there, but there have been question marks, like we've mentioned over the last couple of weeks, specifically for LGE. And my biggest thing is, as we kind of go forward and we're approaching towards that 2-2-2, this team, like we mentioned with Hacker in the mix specifically, were so good at following up when it was goats v goats with a Sombra in the mix, because again, it's hard to miss targets when they're all 6 of them are stacked on top of each other because it's goats. And the follow-up was there because of it. The frontline knew exactly when to push and how to target prioritize. But it really does feel like not only for the follow-up that you had mentioned is not quite there as far as who do you go for when the EMP goes through, but on the opposite side, we mentioned this briefly, the support line of Molly and Linksa have looked a little bit lost as far as when do they commit what resources to which parts of the team. Do we commit it to keeping this one DPS alive, or do we need to just solo focus into our frontliner? It's been a little bit questionable throughout the, I think, entirety of this season so far as, what is that mindset for LGE? And that's something that I'm really kind of looking forward to as this set progresses. Again, we're still expecting LGE to have no problem with this one. It just comes down to, will that learning curve start to become a little less steep than it currently feels like?
Yeah, thriving in the chaos, it seems to be one of the strongest things for LGE and Huya when they are creating the chaos. But when they're existing in the chaos, even their supports are disrupted as well, as we get a substitution coming in here. The boy wonder for LGE and Huya, Hacker is coming back in for Merit for our next map, which is Assault. It's going to be Paris, so maybe you want a little bit more of that comfortable, that familiarity, if you will, for LGE and Huya to try to bounce back, especially getting themselves stomped into the snow of Nepal.
Well, now keep in mind that there was a reason that Hacker was essentially put into the consideration pool of not starting in the first place. Again, he's not been terrible. He's not been bad. Like Kenobi said, he's definitely in the conversation for potentially still one of the best Sombras in the region. It just comes down to, is he still hitting the trigger at the right time, and are his frontliners being able to communicate with him as far as being able to, like we mentioned, to be hit it time and time again? Are they able to follow up once that disruption comes through? So far this season, the answer has not ever really been convincingly yes. So I think we're going to see a different instance, and maybe we can do a side-by-side comparison of where are the strengths and where are the weaknesses when it comes down to Merit v Hacker, just in their utilization of Sombra in specific.
Well, I'm going to be looking for time to charge EMP, that's for one. I'll be having nightmares as a support player myself about how fast Merit was able to charge those EMPs on Shrine, but at the end of the day, what you're mostly looking for right here is how will they be setting up their defense? How are they going to be setting up their attack as well? The thing about Hacker and why Hacker's been having a little bit of a not so fun time in Chinese Contenders this previous season is that the playstyle of Sombra has been kind of snuffed out, right? There's only so many different ways that you could be playing it out. It's either you throw your translocator in for the EMP, you decloak behind the support line for the EMP, so on and so forth. Hacker has been a little bit more linear in the way that they've been playing. Not exactly unpredictable by any means, not exactly predictable, but very easy to be read. And Phantom Wizard, they might be part for the course to being able to snuff that out as well. Lingan Esports on defense, they have a very interesting composition of a bunker. They have JMac on the Winston with Sven on the Orisa, so a little bit of a double shield composition. The idea, especially with Langza on the Baptiste, you go through 2 shield rotations for Sven. Immortality field can come down, but not when you're pooped off the high ground. Gray can cause a blast from Destiny to open this up.
Sven just taking the long road back to the police station. And again, this is another one of those maps, or modes rather, that Lingan Esports has essentially manhandled competition that's below them, as terms as skill and experience goes, because again, this map in specific is very difficult to break, and especially when 3 of your players and 2 of your frontliners get biotic grenaded, although V again opens things up, able to find Hacker scouting things out in the back line. Another really good start. Now you just all of a sudden get the early boost from Keto, and Chaser jumps right on through Kami, trying to deal as much damage as possible, not getting out of that turret mode. And that will be enough to at least take 10 out of the mech. But Destiny is able to find himself free line of fire, and now it's tank mode for Kami. He's able to find Destiny. That's a good pickoff, and that should be at least the initial hold coming back through, as Phantom Wizard definitely gave it a pretty good effort. Molly's really close to a biot, or pardon me, another nano. But with the res coming back through and these kills from V, is there an opportunity to fight this back? Chaser seems to think so, as he puts himself in the Primal Rage and just keeps Molly out of the Immortality field, and now it's just down to focus on the Batiste, and he's not going to find a way out of this one. Doesn't matter how many little crouch jump packs you have, there's nowhere to go. And Phantom Wizard, on the back half of a nice res from Amy and 2 big picks from V, are able to turn things back around.
Hacker only had 80% of the EMP as well after going through a nano boost, and as well as the tank configuration. Kami tried to lock the legs and sprint back to the point as well. Lynx is actually going to give up the amplification field. Well, not like you would find much value here on point B. You're almost going to want to start setting yourself up for a defense ultimate opportunity. Amy's going to have the Valkyrie to walk under here for Phantom Wizard. Plus, Kato's going to end up having this nano boost available. It's going to come down to this EMP from Hacker and J-Max Primal Rage to find value to push Phantom Wizard back, as Kami even goes over to the brig. So a triple support, the 3-2-1 composition for Lingon Esports as they look to hold off Phantom Wizard here on point B Paris.
And again, for Phantom Wizard, the only thing you have available right now is a Valkyrie. Oh, big 6-man hack comes through, plus a Biotic Grenade on the back end. Again, is the follow-up going to be there? You're seeing it, like Kenobi mentioned, it's J-Mac and Sven. It's the Diva and the Winston combination. There's so much extra mobility to get to that backline once the EMP comes through. But Phantom Wizard does a really nice job of soft disengaging here and getting a little bit of a reset. But now the Primal Rage from J-Mac, they technically already won this fight, but J-Mac is, again, searching for more blood in the water. And I think that trigger of the ultimate might come back to bite them in the butt, because now you take a look at their ultimates, the only thing they have for sustain is Molly on the nano boost, and as the dragons get sent through the middle, looks like Phantom Wizard want to commit early.
Yeah, you're going to have to rely putting the nano boost onto J-Mac or Hacker to be able to find increasing value. You're going to have to wait for Langsa to get into the backline to hopefully put a sound wave onto some members of Phantom Wizard to find value in the self-destruct, unless the bubbles and the spacing is right.
Oh, Sven tries to go up for what looked to be a self-destruct sequence, but gets stunned before you can hit the trigger. Molly does take down Chaser, and Phantom Wizard, as they committed to a lot to this fight, will be taken down after there was no shielding there. The self-destruct finally comes through to take down 2 support members, and very fortunately, I would say Lingon Esports were able to hold, because again, they didn't have any kind of sustained ultimates. Now they're going to have not only a rally, but they're also very close to a sound barrier for the next fight.
Yeah, and, well, gonna be counting your blessings if you're Lingon Esports and Huya VVVV. Going over to the Somber, gonna go be matching Hacker into the matchup. We're gonna be going through another EMP and a Primal Rage. Well set up there from Lingon Esports and Huya off the Nano Boost and the Self-Destruct. Gonna be able to have 2 support ultimates to layer on top of each other. Gonna have the rally to initiate here as well. But if Phantom Wizard can break through this with their own Primal Rage and their self-destruct as well, has been a devastating combo to be dealt with in the past. You're gonna have to see if Phantom Wizard can find value in theirs.
And LGE, you've seen them overcommit ultimates before. Hacker will come through with an EMP. Chaser is able to get the Primal Rage off just in time before he was affected by that status effect. And again, where's the follow-up? It's not there. Phantom Wizard does a nice job of just allowing Chaser to zone, and now 10-10 able to come back with a self-destruct sequence, finds Hacker. So not that disruption. Can they potentially use this to push on through? Here's the sound barrier for Lingon Esports. They still have a nano boost, and J-Max still potentially for a Primal Rage. I think if you're Phantom Wizard, you realize that this fight is likely lost, but can you bait out any other ultimates? The answer seems to be no, as Kami's just slapping away with this flail. And that'll be enough for Lingon Esports to push back Phantom Wizard again.
Good rotations of ultimates coming through from Lingon Esports and Huya. Phantom Wizard also invested their 2 tank ultimates to go along with that. They're actually going to be swapping over to a more broadly composition with the triple support as well with the Rien and Zarya. 10-10 on the control map. Found a lot of value with the Zarya in having incredible time to charge and placement of the projected barriers, but they also have the nano boost to go over to Chaser for a little bit more brawl. You also have the EMP to initiate this fight as well, and there's no defensive ultimate for Lingon Esports and Huya to fight this one back on. It just comes down to J-Mac popping the Primal Rage and getting the nano boost beforehand as well to over-sustain them into this fight. They have to be careful of this EMP from VVVV.
And Hacker is about 70%, a very early nano boost being charged in. J-Max trying to get involved. You're also dealing with a self-destruct sequence for Sven if he wants to potentially get this one online. He is able to use that through, but not able to find anything with it. Doesn't make much of a difference, though, as the front line has been completely decimated. 10-10 falls. Amy as well. Chaser really without a lot of sustain behind him, but a nice little biography. If they can find J-Mac, this is absolutely still fightable, but it was close, but they weren't quite able to get the last bit of damage needed. So Phantom Wizard again stalled out. Just still under 2 minutes. There's plenty of time to still to play with. It just comes down to making sure you get the ultimates you need to potentially give this one good solid college try.
One good scholar's try, but few ultimates down the drain, and Phantom Wizard are having a hard time having any sort of progress being able to be found here. And let's not forget that they were able to win point A damn near decisively off of just an opening engagement as well, or two. But having a few ultimates being put down the drain as well, it allows Esports and Huya to be having their own. And this is a very early engagement off the EMP from Hacker.
And once again, Biotic Grenade, but where's the follow-up? None of the frontliners dive on in. I think they were just too afraid that there would be maybe a counter EMP, but now that V's gone, it's a 6v5, and again, the numbers would favor that of Esports. Plus, if they can find a way to keep this going, Chaser, though, failing to shatter, will take down at least one. JMac instantly into the primal rage when he gets woken right back up, and he will start making to the front line, is separated away from the back line of PW. But again, there's not a lot of follow-up here. You see 4 members are on the retreat for LGE, while meanwhile, JMac is sitting here saying, I'm going in. The EMP gets charged. Phantom Wizard able to find a lot of different disruptions, plus the nano boost into effect. JMac gets taken down, Hacker gets taken down, and now big numbers for Phantom Wizard. Langsa tries to throw out a sound barrier, but honestly doesn't really find that many players, and now 10-10, that is the most free Graviton Surge he will find all day, but they will be able to clean up only Kami with it. So again, staggered respawns will be coming out for LGE. It just comes down to, can they actually contest against all the damage that 10-10 is able to funnel in? JMac on the desperate swap over to the Wrecking Ball, not going to find anything. And, well, I just don't know who else is going to be able to really sit here for long enough. You're going to have to deal with Sven. And again, just good target prioritization coming through. EMP for Hacker finds 3, but that seems to be a mere inconvenience for Phantom Wizard as they sustain through it once again. And V with his second EMP, nice block from Chaser to make sure that the self-destruct finds absolutely nothing. And now the EMP in response for Phantom trying to put this one away. It is in overtime, still haven't found the second tick of progress. And Sven boosted is going right on through, making sure that the support line is absolutely disrupted. A very good push through for Sven to save the day. And Phantom Wizard will be cut just a touch short of the cap.
It was a hellacious amount of damage being able to come through because of the nano boost on top of the Diva as well. It's always unseen, but those micro missiles actually deal a lot of damage.
It sure do, especially when you're boosted and you're taking damage mitigation. You don't have to worry about the defense major. Kenobi, a couple of very shaky moments really for both teams. What were some of your biggest takeaways as you watched that first round?
Well, I mean, obviously, for one, Hacker looks a lot better right now than Merit did on that first map. I mean, just the EMP generation and the EMP usage and value it's getting is much better. Merit in that first map was getting maybe 2 or 3 EMP targets whenever he was EMPing, but Hacker is getting 4, 5, 6-man EMPs like we know him to be doing. And when it's that good, when PW is coming out on this Rien Zarya comp, that's really what led LGE last year. That's what they were best at countering. They were best at countering these comps that were so, close together because EMP just finds so much value. And now the follow-up is finally there for them. We have Sven and JMac on the dive tanks who can just go into the back line. And then we have Molly as well, who's hitting these really good anti-nades once everyone is hacked and getting so much value that way. The follow-up still has a lot to be worked on, but it is looking a lot better than it did on that first map. And another thing, Sven needs to just stay on Diva for whenever I see him because it's his best hero for sure. We saw in that last fight, something he did that was really cool is he saw the translocator come over his head, he boosters out of the way and then comes back, not getting hacked, available then to just use that defense matrix to peel for his team a little bit more and have some more damage with those micro missiles. So LGE.Huya looking a lot better, shaky at times, but man, keep in Hacker.
All right, well, we'll see what happens as we swap the sides and go into round 2 here. Phantom Wizard cut just a touch short of finding that second tick of progress on B, so the win condition has been established for LGE. There's to figure out what exactly they want to come out of spawn with as Langston makes a little bit of a late swap over to the Mercy, essentially committing to the pharmacy idea. JMac, we've had some questions, let's be honest here, Panda, when it comes to him on Wrecking Ball. Sometimes he just goes in too far beyond the rest of his team to really even help out whatsoever. And how about this battle airborne here, Destiny going up against Kami for the little 1v1 toggling around this building. But again, JMac has left his team and is completely out under the point trying to get some progress started.
European Air Control, please call in for Paris. We got a dogfight going on in the sky right above the cafe. And, well, VVVV is actually going to find JMac. He spoke about going in too deep. I was going to even note that there was no Sombra on the board for Phantom Wizard. So, JMac, so long as they were going to be able to control the Mega Pack that's to the left of the capture point of A here on... Wow, I'm sorry. I lost my words. What a hell of a sleep dart from Molly. Was incredibly low, and well, the biotic grenade's going to be coming there from Kato as well, so you're going to have to see that one sticks. Molly actually walks out there with their life, and well, here comes the spy check. Sven over to the Diva, going to complete a little bit of a dive composition as well. Like Kenobi was saying, this is where they look best, and when 222 is on the horizon, you have to expect your off-tank to be able to play this out.
Hacker with the windshield wiper aim, able to finally lock down V just before. He's able to barely slip away at the grapple. Now Kami's got essentially a lot of freedom without that Widow being there to potentially fly right overhead of these frontliners, but be careful of the hook. able to at least stay alive, and one more rocket and the fadeaway. Cool people don't look at explosions, and well, 10-10 gets taken away as Kami just goes right back over to point, and that will be likely captured A coming through.
Really well played. I mean, once you lose 1 and 2 here on 1 or 2, excuse me, the point really opens up wide. It's really hard to gain footing back onto the point. How long of a walk? This is the longest walk on any assault map. Kind of replaces Full Sky Industries on that one from the spawn room all the way back on point B. JMac very slow to be building this minefield, but when you have all these damage dealing ultimates and the nano boost can be going over to JMac, Phantom Wizard are going to have a hard time combating against this. They only have to get essentially 57% League on Esports and Huya to capture the point of B and take the map win.
Kami is going to be searching for an opportunity to get this barrage off. Might have to come on the back end of Hacker's EMP, who's, again, you can see he's trying to figure out who am I going to hit. He's able to find 3 players, but it's not until after the sound barrier comes through and 10-10's able to hook him right back into danger. Now, again, the nano boost used for Destiny, but he's not even going to need to use the barrage as of yet. We'll find an opportunity to let it loose, and he's able to take down 2 plus the mech. And just like that, you can go right back on the point. Again, JMac caught essentially up a creek without a battle as he gets completely obliterated. The minefield is also utilized in this engagement, and Phantom Wizard sustained.
Nano boost on top of Valkyrie for Destiny's barrage. Amy's going to go swap over to the Lucio. You have to expect that Destiny's going to be taking swaps here as well. Does VVVV. It's going to be a triple support, 3-2-1 composition coming out from Phantom Wizard. Chaser over to the Reinhardt was playing a little bit of multi-personality disorder as well. 10-10's actually not going to let the whole hog rip out. It's going to go over to the Zarya to make this composition full. And, well, you don't want to be playing any chances here, especially when you only have a tick and a half to be given over for free. League on Esports have another nano boost available as they swap over to their own Ryan Zarya 3-2-1. And, well, Hacker expect at 50% ultimate charge to be finishing out that charge to have another EMP in the middle of this fight.
JMac has been let off the leash as he tries to go through, but doesn't find enough damage. So just like that, it's Phantom Wizard who say, we meet your nano boost with one of our own. And Chaser dives right on through, and he's generating a lot of charge. JMac will be biotic grenaded, trying to stay alive, has to juggle the shield, and will be able to get back out of dodge. But again, look how split apart LGE are. They're going to reconvene in this main 4 here, but again, they're not really able to get anything going because there's no ultimates to really open this up yet.
Hacker has an EMP, though, and this is going to be able to open things up like a can of Pringles, and you're going to almost have to expect for JMac to have this Earth Shatter to soon follow through, and Sven does have the rally available, so the sustain is going to be there for League on Esports and Huya. Can VVVV complete the charge for their own EMP and get the EMP Shatter for the defense?
Looking close. Again, LGE giving them a lot of time. There's the hack, but it only finds the front line. That's not what you want at all. Now V, he bounces back and he takes out 4 with the disruption of the EMP. It's going to be Sven trying to sustain his team up with just the rally, and the shatter from Chaser will put a couple on their back. But again, it's LGE who are able to find the initial first blood in this engagement as Chaser falls. Sound barrier used. We also have the nano boost out, and then the graviton surge for 10. He's high charge. Can he clean up some of the damage? It looks like he very well could, but not quite able to secure the last bit of damage that was needed for a couple of different kills. And Langsa will hit the sound barrier, and LGE have big numbers as they come on into this fight. It's just down to taking care of 10-10, who is 100% charged, but the numbers are just not here, and it'll be Kami who's able to clean things up. J Destiny on the Doomfist trying to make the desperate swap again. You don't even need the second tick of progress, and Phantom Wizard can't touch in time. LGE able to bounce back and take Paris.
Mismanaged support ultimates from Phantom Wizard on the defense. They layered both their, they did the rally on top of the sound barrier, and then the nano boost came through. It was a 3-way support ultimates from all 3 supports being played from Phantom Wizard. Did not have enough sustain to combat in the long-term fight that was that last.
Well, we'll bring Kenobi back in, but I want to get your take again. We've been talking kind of, looking down at Phantom Wizard throughout a lot of this pregame, but again, even the understanding to make those swaps when they did going into point B after that ultimate fiesta really didn't find any value for either team. It just goes to show that their understanding of this game has developed significantly since the start of this contender season.
Yeah, I mean, they're hitting tab, which is one of the most OP buttons in the game, right? You can see the fact that LGE is switching towards this GOATS composition, this 3-2-1 oriented composition. So what do you do at that point? You take the mirror, which is obviously the best, at that point, the best thing to do, because if you're running Orisa Hog into GOATS, not really the best. There's a lot of things that you can counteract that hook with. You have a Reinhardt shield, big rectangle man, can't really get hooks through those. So really like that Phantom Wizard was able to switch, but Panda mentioned it. One of the issues with Phantom Wizard throughout their entire season has been ultimate usage, and really bad ultimate usage. And at the end there, you're layering 3 different support ultimates on top of each other. You don't want to be doing that, but And then on the other side, Fling on Esports and Huya, Molly is hard carrying right now. This doesn't happen. These fights don't happen unless Molly is there. Anti-nade after anti-nade, keeping his tanks alive, keeping his DPS alive. Everyone is being kept alive right now just by Molly's nades and his rifles. So that's really what they're going to need, because Molly has had a really rough season this entire season. Basically, he hasn't had the same impact he did last season on Zenyatta and stuff like that. And boy, howdy, are they going to need it. It looks like they're going to need Molly to continue this, as we're going to see some highlights.
Yeah, and in 3-3 and 3-2-1, where Ling on Esports were shining through, it's really easy in a way for Zenyatta to shine through, especially when bashes are kind of stall-worthy and you can get a lot of good value with the Orbs of Destruction. But Molly's having a Kareev-esque game here, especially with the sleep darts coming through, being able to shut down a multitude of areas. You saw the one from 10-10 when they were high charge as well, when Ling on Esports were on defense as well, and being able to mitigate that damage just by putting the opposition to. Now that's exactly what you expect from a strength of a flex support like Molly, and like you said, not as good as the season so far, but putting in good work here. Although it is against Phantom Wizard, who is at the bottom of the group, it's still really nice to see. It's refreshing almost to see Molly be able to pop off like that.
There are still some issues, though, with follow-up between EMPs. Like we saw that last fight, actually, that EMP from Hacker wasn't the greatest. Only hit a 2-man and no follow-up. It was just at the end, Molly comes in with those huge clutchy anti-nades, and they're able to win that fight. So got to clean it up still a little bit for LGE.Huya, even though they won that.
A little bit sloppy for LGE, but Phantom Wizard, again, able to at least stay in the fight and contest this one through. We're tied up as we head to our halftime. When we come back, it'll be the hybrid. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chinese Contenders. We are knotted up at one map apiece going into the hybrid here between Phantom Wizard and LGE.Huya. At the beginning of the season, if you would have told me I said those words by the end, I would think you were crazy. But so far, Phantom Wizard looking relatively solid, but I don't know if it's more Phantom Wizard looking super good or if it's just LGE needing to tighten up the screws a little bit. I think that as I pitch this over to Panda, he's going to say probably a little bit of both, as there have been really issues for both teams. But again, it's keeping Phantom Wizard in the game so far.
You wouldn't have to tell me that for me to think that you're crazy, but you're definitely right. I mean, like it's a little bit of everything coming out here from Phantom Wizard. They're doing a lot of things well, but they're also doing a lot of things that have been a kind of a similar fashion for them coming through. I mean, let's not forget that they are at the bottom of their group as well, and that's not coming through from a couple of their own mistakes. From, like Kenobi was saying, ultimate usage is a little bit all over the place. It's stacking support ultimates on top of each other, but let's not write off LGE.Huya as well. We were talking about Hacker coming in that last engagement, only found 2 was the front line. It was easily to be negated, but if Phantom Wizard didn't, in playing the what-if game, I know it's a very dangerous concept here, but if they did not triple layer their support ultimates on top of each other, then the Graviton Surge might not have found as much value, and then they probably would have been pushed back ever so slightly. Against a stronger team, LGE.Huya would truly struggle, just like we have seen in previous weeks as well. This team that had made it to the showdown had been knocked down a peg, have been really struggling to find their footing into Chinese Contenders again, and have not looked as strong as well. So that could also be the reason why, we know that Hacker is one last ride coming through as well. As you take a look at the map, we are heading over to the sunny land, Hollywood. A little bit more of a stall-worthy map for the dive composition to come through from JMac and Sven. Find a little bit more value against Phantom Wizard's backline, a little bit more of a diveable targets that their backline may be. However, I want to be able to go back to this point as well. 2-2-2 is right on the horizon. This is going to be the last time that we see Ling on Esports and Huya being able to play their 3-2-1 composition. And with that being said as well, haven't seen much of the Orisa Hog composition. They have any hopes of being able to walk into the 2-2-2 lifestyle. Gonna have to be able to see that composition come through eventually. But Sven is a very good diva. Orisa diva can still be a composition that you can be able to be played. Dive defense can only find that much value for so long. But you see loading in here right onto the map on the attack will be that Orisa Hog composition with double sniper, if you will.
Yeah, quasi double sniper, right?
Yeah, quasi, yeah. No, the DMR, I suppose, can also be there as well. But look who's actually playing the Ashe. Hacker, the flexible.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see. As again, it's weird to say, but out of a lot of players that we've seen throughout the history of Chinese Contenders, he's been one of the more hard stuck players. I mean, you name yourself Hacker because of your Sombra. What value are you going to bring playing a different hero? And so far, the answer is you get slept and destroyed by V. And, well, that's Phantom Wizards starting off their defense very nicely here in Hollywood, mostly just, again, abusing the front line of LGE.
Oh, boy. And here we go. Okay. Make yourself a little bit of a slower composition, I suppose. You give up speed. Kind of a shooting gallery for VVVV. Almost going into an art gallery, you would assume, with a camera. Kami going to swap over to the Mei. Going to be able to block out some more HUD combos that are coming through. And, well, I asked and I received ever so slightly. And, well, J-Max Sven came out on the Orisa Hawk composition. Quick to swap. Sven was over to the Diva as well. Going to try to mitigate as much damage as possible, as well as Kami. Here comes Hacker as well, throwing in the Dynamite. Not finding as much value. If you find a big Dynamite, you can build up Bob pretty quickly. But how the heck are you going to get back here to VVVV?
I don't know. I was about to say the only way that you can even get any pressure to V is if Hacker starts hitting some shots. And, well, as we say it,
Shoot
you're
or get
seeing
shot.
exactly how that matchup is going so far for Hacker. That's twice now that he's been taken down again. I guess you could technically say once and a half after Hacker was sleeping for the easy headshot the first time around. Amplification Matrix get utilized. Destiny looking to try to do what they can, as they do have a Blizzard. And honestly, with how separated LGE is, if they can find a good wall to kind of trap them in and maybe even throw the Blizzard down, there's no way that you can get out of here. And I like the call. It might be a touch of an overinvestment, but hey, you might as well take your kills in staggered form as much as you're able to. And you also get a Transcendence while V is able to pop off and find two. Granted, again, most of them were frozen, but still, it still looks great in the kill feed. And, well, these are just some bullying body blocks coming out to Sven, who's desperately trying to do what he can to get himself eliminated, and finally he'll get taken down. But again, only a minute and a half left for this push on LGE, and they've been completely full health so far.
Let's not forget the passive that Pilot Divas actually end up having, and that's when you get staggered for all of eternity. And, well, when you're against Destiny, that's being able to not necessarily get the full frozen. It's going to go for that much longer. Winning the fights off of just headshot after headshot, that Blizzard isn't an overinvestment by any means. You see another 5-pack of ultimates being available. Hackers swapped over to the Somber, got immediately obliterated, losing their head as well. And VVVV has been cycling out the same exact rotation, sitting on top of the Juice building that we know and love to call it here in Overwatch, and then using the grapple hook to go back on top of this Sniper's Peak. Hacker having a hard time just dealing with this this Sniper as well. So J-Max swaps over to the Winston. It's going to be a full dive composition with the triple support. Lay a Discord orb on top of a target, try to melt them through, but the supports are... well, they got to make their way through the choke, and yeah, there's HUD hooks to work your way through as well.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is this swap just happens too late. I don't know if they're even going to be able to get a single set of ultimates up, is because, I mean, again, this is just easy kills right now for Phantom Wizard, and they haven't had to use anything besides the nano boost, so trying to heal midair is Amy with those little grenade launches, but not able to find enough to get V healed up. But again, 18 seconds left, and you might have an EMP, but it's going to have to come in desperate form. And with J-Mac getting staggered, he's going to have to swap to the Wrecking Ball, and that's exactly what happens. So now all of a sudden you're just holding and waiting to set up the proper amplification matrix as soon as you start seeing some green outlines on your board. And now here's Hacker in the back. He needs 6%, 2%, needs to pull this off. He's only 22 HP. And now all of a sudden you have to try to find a way to get onto the point. It's overtime. Someone's able to touch Hacker, able to get there to find 4 with the EMP. He'll be able to find 3. And now it just comes down to, will you be able to actually get here to actually contest and clean things up? The kills are looking pretty solid so far from Phantom Wizard in abbreviated numbers. Molly will actually, interesting interaction there. The self-destruct sequence able to sneak up that hallway to take down the Tracer just before Molly would have been eliminated. And it looks like LGE should be able to at least hold on to the point for now. It's 1 and about a half tick of progress. Chaser swapping to the Wrecking Ball, trying to contest, gets hacked. And that will surely be just about it, as Hacker's got another EMP. He'll let that loose. And this will be a 6-on-4 with no abilities for Phantom Wizard. And LGE will likely be able to finish off point A here.
Woo! Brought down to 2 HP that time was Hacker.
Or maybe
not.
Wait a second.
With 10-10's walking back with a whole hog. He's actually pushing everybody off.
Wait a second.
3. There's a 4. Oh, 10-10, please. He gets the 5K, please.
That was a 2v6. That was a 2v6. Panda. What? No.
Oh my god. That was insane. Great usage from the whole hog. Even after the mini pack and Chaser got dealt with from Hacker, 10-10's like, excuse me, can you please rightfully get the hell off my point? Great whole hog usage. There's nothing else to it. And that's why you see Orisa Hog being utilized so well, even in metas to come in the future as well. Phantom Wizard are looking fantastic on that composition, being able to deal with so much as well, and really catching Lingon Esports and Huya with their pants down, right? They come out on a double sniperish composition, a pseudo double sniper, if you will, and unable to deal with the Widowmaker of VVVV, and well, VVVV comes back on the Tracer, finds some value until dealt with a self-destruct. Chaser comes back, gets resources out, as well as the Mei being utilized for Phantom Wizard. It's all about pulling out so many resources and being able to make Lingon Esports and Huya into hesitant decisions, and well, that's gonna land you right in front of a chain gun full of trash and shrapnel, and that's really well used whole hog ultimate right there from 1010. Has had a hell of a series so far. Zarya, Roadhog as well, and I gotta really tip my hat over to how well Phantom Wizards 1010 has been playing as well on all three off tanks that we've been seeing them play today. As you see them rolling out here with a 3-2-1 composition as well.
Hacker still on the Ash.
Yep.
Okay, best of luck, friend. And
I don't know if this is a composition to go for a full hold with, man. Like, this is...
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, absolutely the case. And again, here comes Phantom Wizard trying to get the early dive, but J-Mac will shut down Chaser before he can get into the high ground and make life a little bit more difficult for this setup for Lingon Esports, and Phantom Wizard will just soft reset and try to rethink their approach to the next attack.
This really comes down to Hacker landing key dynamites. You see Kami already looking for the spy check with the primary fire of Mei, looking for VVVV. This really comes down to a lot of different things. You got to get a fast Bob, you got to get a fast amplification matrix as well before VVVV gets the EMP available, and you really got to make sure that you get resources well before. There's still a win condition here for Lingon Esports and Huya. Phantom Wizards still have to get 90% to win out this map, and a minute's already passed.
And now the boost already coming through. That's going to be put on a Chaser, who's, again, just trying to get into the bottom of this cafe, making Lingon Esports a little bit more difficult. And honestly, this wall from Kami is not super effective, as he actually traps his own teammates away from one another, but the amplification matrix gets thrown in for Langsa, and that'll be able to assist some of the damage coming out from that bottom side of the cafe. Chaser just playing his life for now, wants to try to get away, but gets pulled right back in and will be finished.
Where you
off.
going?
Yeah, this is actually starting to look a lot better. Bob was utilized, though, in that last fight, so the potential for a 7v6 is gone, but at least it allows time for Lingon Esports to get some more defensive ultimates online.
I was going to say it was a minor overinvestment. They probably could have won that alone off of just the amplification field, but they're going to be able to have a Blizzard Lingon Esports too. They also have both tank ultimates and a Transcendence to be able to combat against Phantom Wizard. It just comes down to Molly being able to be well tucked and hidden as well. From the EMP of VVVV, you see Kami doing the exact same, so that way they can come back around with the Blizzard once they touch the point. But here's the thing about Molly. You use the Transcendence for the EMP, but you won't have it available for the inevitable Nanoblade that Phantom Wizard are setting up.
Oh, they're trying to get J-Mac caught out and isolated as the EMP goes into the cafe, but Molly, he's able to stay on the first floor and get the Transcendence off. No eliminations yet, just the Supercharger falls victim so far. Dynamite able to take down Destiny, who was very close to his blade, but wasn't quite able to get it off, and Keto actually used the Nano Boost for this push as well. So as far as synergy for Phantom Wizard, they're not really going to have much of it coming into this next engagement, and you wonder, does Destiny try to raw this, or probably throw this out as a raw blade, or do you have to wait for Ana to charge it up? Looks like my answer will be given to me, as Keto will switch back over away from the Ana to the Zenyatta.
Yeah, so you land a good Discord orb. Amy's going to go over to the Mercy as well. So if you can keep the Mercy alive for a certain amount of time, get a couple dash resets coming in with the blade as well, you can still be able to find a little bit more value as well. It comes down from the damage boost onto the first initial swipes, but it won't have the damage mitigation from the Nano Boost. That's one of the strongest parts as well. Here comes the dive again. Chaser does have the Primal Rage available. Here comes an Amplification Matrix as well from Langsa.
Nice for Destiny. He fouls up right at the proper time, slaps himself through two, plus able to get the blade for the third. Bob does come out to end that killing spree, but Chaser just pushes him back down to that pit on the back end of the point. And now it's just a little bit of a, I would say a 1v1, but that wasn't truly representative. And again, now all of a sudden with these kills coming through, Phantom Wizard, all they have to do is finish off the cap. Here comes J-Mac by himself on the Wrecking Ball. You can't think that this life lasts for all that long. He does a pretty decent job, but there's no mega health pack there. Able to still contest, but Langsa does get taken out a very crucial portion of healing that would have been there. And again, you don't even need the full cap. Just get it a little bit further here for Phantom Wizard. A couple more eliminations will do the trick. Molly does pop the Transcendence, so maybe some last-second heroics coming out for Lingon Esports. Again, only 15 seconds left. Here comes the slam coming through the self-destruct sequence. No shielding to block it, and that will surely be just about it. Everybody falls in pieces, and Phantom Wizard, it was last-second heroics with the whole hog and Nano Boost combination, and they're just narrowly able to close out Point A in similar fashion.
The condition was there for the defense, of course. The investment of the nano boost earlier on as well, but they could not deal with the Mercy to damage boost and deal with the Genji in time. A little bit of misusage from Molly trying to combat it against that EMP. Didn't have it available for the Blade.
Well, I'm bringing Kenobi, and again, while that last fight was happening, I was thinking, maybe this is just LG having bad follow. Really good play from the Hog and Ana combination for Phantom Wizard to get those last couple of kills in what was essentially a 2v6. The Tracer did get involved, so technically, if you want to be specific, it was a 3v6 at the end of that hill, an offensive hit, rather.
Yeah, really clutch from 10-10 at the end there, but I mean, whenever I see Hacker on Ashe, that usually tends to tell me that this is not going to go well for them. And on offense, they spent a long time, like much longer than they should have, sticking to this Ashe composition. Whereas on the other side for Phantom Wizard, the thing that they did really well is they switched their composition at one point to a better composition and took time to farm up towards that win condition, right? They were like, okay, we're going to switch over. They're playing Bunker. We're going to switch over to EMP Nanoblade comp. We use EMP a little bit early, but it doesn't matter because we force out the Transcendence. So Phantom Wizard seems to have a better understanding of win conditions with their ultimates a little bit more. And I don't know, LGE is going to make me drop the F word at some point because they have not been playing like that good at all. Like it's been really difficult to watch this team and watch them like kind of just collapse at the seams. Like they're falling apart. Everything that we thought LGE was good at, they're suddenly just not good at anymore. And it's just really difficult to watch this team, last season's champions, mind you, going up against a team that is at the bottom of the rankings and losing this convincingly.
Yeah, take a look at some of these highlights as well from this very star-studded Hollywood. We didn't get to see Streets. We didn't get all the way to third. You know, the passenger inside the limousine has to be upset. Didn't get all the way to his set as well. And, well, here is that Blade at the end as well. And you see the damage, but you see a little Mercy pop up as the assist feed as well. And that's exactly what I was trying to set up. It's like you gave up the nano boost, so you go over to the Mercy as well. And that's really really good recognition from Amy to be able to notice their win condition was in the Blade, but it only if Destiny was able to survive the initial hit from the Blade and being able to get a little bit of damage to come through as well.
Really solid play again, following up instead of initiating, like you properly mentioned. And how about this for win condition? Phantom Wizard has to close out just one more map to find that coveted set win that would be the first one of their Chinese contenders and what has been a debut for them here in Season 2. We'll send things to a break. When we come back, it'll be the Pure Escort. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Chinese Contenders. Do not adjust your mind. Phantom Wizard currently up 2-1 on Klingon Esports and IHOLDSHIFT with Panda. Going into the Pure Escort, there have been question marks surrounding this entirety of the set, some of them with eyebrow raises, some of them with double eyebrow raises. As again, this has been a lot of interesting looks. This is from both sides. You know, LGE, they bring back Hacker in after map 1, which did not go their way really whatsoever. And now all of a sudden, Phantom Wizard have the potential of closing out the set.
Here's the thing that really raises my eyebrows even further here, Alan, is that when you're looking at bringing in Merit, well, Merit was definitely known for their Widowmaker play, a little bit more of a razzle dazzle on the sniper heroes. So why would you keep Hacker in and playing out on the Ashe? It's kind of a lose condition, if you will, as well. We know Hacker to be a tremendous Sombra player. Never really broke out on any performance for a sniper hero. So coming in here for the fourth map, Klingon Esports are going to be looking to push this into a map 5. They're going to be trying to have Merit come in and put this into that exact win scenario. So I want to be able to see a little bit more of that flexibility we saw when Merit was coming out on the first map of Nepal and Control. It only played the Sombra. So I'm seeing a little bit of a kind of back and forth as far as hero pool is concerned. I know when you're trying to replace Hacker as Klingon Esports in Huya, it seems to be their biggest composition, as well as playing the 3-2-1 Sombra, especially through even last season's Contenders, all the way through the showdown as well. But it's got to be something a little bit different. You got to be able to catch them off guard. Again,
this is your all-in total right here, right? I mean, again, this is the change. This is what you're hoping that is going to get you through playoffs successfully. So for me, you have to go game 5 right now if you're LG, and beyond that, honestly, you have to win this set, and it's going to come on Merit. I want to really I hate to put the weight on his shoulders, but let's be honest, this is why you're brought in.
Yeah, the whole weight of Chinese Contenders, not necessarily on winning out of even being in playoffs for Klingon Esports and Huya. We know that they are guaranteed to be in playoffs, but like we were mentioning, you said so wonderfully, is that this is about seeding. And Klingon Esports and Huya, they want to be able to have the best seeding possible. And as you take a look at our fourth map here, it's going to be going to Rialto, the land of right angles of escort maps and snipers playground as well. Well, someone's got to stop VVVV. You know,
right.
VVVV is going to be hanging out on the Widowmaker throughout this entire probably one of the biggest looks from Hollywood of Phantom Wizard. You need a DPS player to be able to deal with it. You can't always dedicate JMac and Sven to be able to find dives, especially when it's that far away. You take a look at the defensive setup here. It's going to be Lingon Esports and Huya on the defense first off. They're going to have the Orisa Hog composition. You see the Widowmaker being played out there as well. You can only imagine that it's going to end up being Merit. Going to have to see how they deal with that composition that's coming out of the gates as well. It's a VVVV on a Widowmaker as well. Zenyatta's for both teams as well. The Orisa Hog is going to be going on both ends. And Destiny and Kami are going to have another dogfight.
VVV took a direct rocket, but is able to keep his composure and find the headshot versus Kami. Will be re-rezzed back up, but that's used just before Sven gets booped off the map. So now you're short a frontliner if you're looking at this from LGE's perspective, and that means a lot of free ground will be gained here from the side of Phantom Wizard, and Destiny's floating up here for free, knowing that Merit hasn't really been able to contest him yet. Little airborne battle just over the top of the overpass, but no one really connected with anything yet. But again, the map positioning is great. Oh, Destiny! 2 direct rockets through, and that'll be the end of Molly's life for the second time, and now free line of sight in the back, and Merit, what is that positioning? He gets absolutely destroyed from the courtyard over the side, and now V has free line of sight, booped off his Sven, and that's going to be the point of A, captured very quickly for Phantom Wizard.
Sven's just like, put me back in the river, please. I can't deal with this fire by myself. And, well, like you said, I mean, very inauspicious positioning there from Merit as well. VVVV has been finding a tremendous amount of pressure as well from these off angles being held. And, well, what could you ask for? They have a lot of the land, especially when Destiny is able to fly for almost free. It really comes down to Kami being able to lay down just a little bit of pressure. They have the Discord Orb and the damage boost available. Lingon Esports and Huya, they're going to swap over to that composition that I was talking about. It seems to be their comfort pick of choice, obviously, with JMac on the Winston, Sven onto the Diva. 3 supports as well. Molly very close to the Transcendence. Going to have to get that online sometime soon to be able to combat it against Destiny's Barrage. It's a tall order to ask, all things considered, because, well, there it is.
Yep, Barrage comes through. Molly, no Transcendence yet. Kill feed, white. Phantom Wizard wins this engagement relatively convincingly. Only player to fall was Destiny, but he's brought right back by Amy. And just like that, all of a sudden, the second stage of this map is in dangerous territory to potentially be converted. And again, what do you do to get back into this fight if you're Lingon Esports? Do you have to commit the Transcendence just to be able to contest it? Are you even going to? Looks like the answer will be no. And 5 minutes and 45 seconds for Phantom Wizard to finish the map.
If you told me couple weeks ago, at the beginning of this season even, that Phantom Wizard, we're going to sit here and have 5 darn minutes to capture the 3rd point of Rialto against Lingon Esports and Huya, well, I'd say you're crazy. And, well, Lingon Esports and Huya even invested Transcendence just to initiate into this fight as well, trying to get into the face of Phantom Wizard. And it's all about just stalling out time. They have to get resources out. Molly's pissed. Look at him. Going off on the kill feed as well. But Phantom Wizard, again, their spawn is right there, and this spawn camp can only last for so long until numbers really become in the advantage for the attacking team. Resources were gained in the advantage for Lingon Esports and Huya because Phantom Wizard are going to be taking their compositional swap. Destiny is going to try to find value in this barrage. Nevertheless, as VVV goes over to the Sombra. Nope, spoken too soon. Mirror composition, 4-man EMP.
And this is a mistake from Phantom Wizard. They get onto the payload before everyone can actually get there. That's a pretty easy call for Merit to hit the EMP, and they do follow up, but again, that was essentially a 6v4 plus the disruption of the hack coming through onto multiple members. So pretty easy engagement, but again, all of this results is just in essentially 60 seconds off the clock because, again, there's still so much time on the board, still 4.5 total minutes to go. And, well, JMac wanted to get involved likely for what would have been a Primal Rage, but gets hacked as he's there, and he's trying to stay alive. But again, it's just an Orbit Harmony and the healing amp that's coming out of Langsa. He does now have himself back to full HP. Plus, you're also looking at numbers as Keto falls. Destiny also very low. Not quite able to get taken down, though. The sound barrier gets committed, but still, where's the follow-up? There's no damage here. Finally, the Primal Rage comes out looking to boot people off into that nice blue abyss, but not able to get what I think he was looking for. So now, all of a sudden, as Phantom Wizard are actually winning this fight, Lingon Esports have used almost everything trying to get the spawn camp.
Great shield bash from Destiny to actually save 1010's life.
And
getting
his own.
closer. Yeah, getting closer to the Graviton Surge as well. They do have the Transcendence available for whatever they may find necessary. It's probably going to end up being Merit's EMP. Right on board for VVVs as well. Chaser does have the Earth Shatter available, and Molly's going to have to really decide on which, in the timely fashion, you're going to be pulling out this Transcendence.
Well, it's going to be now, apparently, for Molly. Keto uses the same. Chaser tried to get things started with an Earth Shatter. And now that means that there is nothing to combat against the Graviton Surge. EMP, yeah, it looks good in the status bar, but again, there's nobody here to follow up. So thanks for, getting the 6-man EMP. I guess that will do something for your stat line as far as total players affected by the hack. But again, you committed the Transcendence so early. 10-10 just, lives by the motto, patience is a virtue. Drops the most free Graviton Surge I think we've seen in Chinese Contenders, and it's an easy cleanup from there.
This is some high-level Overwatch coming out from Phantom Wizard, right?
It really is, honestly.
Right? I just... Again, high-level Overwatch is what you're noticing is that the Earth Shatter comes through. Molly pulls out the Transcendence. EMP is answered back from Merit, Lingon Esports and Huya onto Phantom Wizard, but Amy didn't get hit by it. Amy pulls in the sound barrier. And, well, since there was no Transcendence, there was no sound barrier for Lingon Esports and Huya at that point in time. Like you said, freest Graviton Surge of 1010's career. Can only guarantee that much. I'm not necessarily sure if that's actually true, but it's the best one that I've seen out of their tenure in Chinese Contenders thus far, at least that I've seen. And, well, at that point, what do you honestly do? There's an EMP soon to follow by VVVV, who's been having an outstanding performance in this match specifically. Widowmaker and Sombra as well. Leon Esports and Huya, they're reeling here, man. Their backs are against the wall, and
for multiple reasons, right? I mean,
it's hard to watch,
it's hard. There's a lot of things going wrong at the moment. Yeah. Even going back to, it's actually interesting because I want to get your take on this as we come back in. I'm getting major Tanshu early season 1 vibes from J-Mac when it comes to him committing on play, and heroes like Winston and Wrecking Ball when it comes to him just diving in, and there's nobody there with the same mentality.
Yeah, even when just bring yourself back, Tenshu was a love for his shift key when he's on Reinhardt as well, and always finds himself in the backline for worser reasons as well. Dogfight is going to be commenced here on the first point as well. Kami versus Destiny as well. VVVV is going to be on the Widowmaker versus Merit, but VVVV again, opening picks and VVVV. Name a more iconic duo in this series. I dare you.
Merit not hitting those same kind of shots. Maybe that's the more iconic duo. Kami looking for, again, that free line of sight. Still trying to avoid Merit, who is still up, but for the moment, or pardon me, VVV is still up. Getting my Widowmakers mixed up for a second there. Destiny kind of doing the exact same thing as he's trying to avoid Merit. Again, just flying high by this bell tower. And so far, again, this is a much more substantial hold for Phantom Wizard, as, again, just both Aristas looking at each other through plasma barriers. And again, it's just waiting for a hook. Kami finally able to get the best of Destiny mid-air, and that's going to mean that Kami can start to fly forward into the face of VVV. At least that's the opportunity in front of him. Rez comes through for Sven, who was just previously taken down. Keto, though, doing a lot of damage with the Biotic Rifle, and VVV, I believe he just puts that into assault rifle mode. That's enough for the cleanup, but the front line too strong for Lingon, as they will zone all those damage dealers out.
I respect Kami for trying to hit the concussive blast to bounce away. Merit now coming back. Can you get the third? Oh, there it is. Don't let the river take that one away from you, Amy. Very well played. This positioning for Widowmakers is probably one of the strongest on the map. As you see right where Merit's looking down, that's the spawn room coming through for Phantom Wizard. And, well, like on Esports and Huya, they're going to be able to capture point A. They have 4 minutes and 50 seconds to combat through the second phase of Rialto here. And, well, as so long as Merit's able to suppress VVVV, never mind. I'm going to stop that phrase right where I wanted to continue that one on.
It's a confidence thing, I think, is what I'm seeing so far. You can just kind of tell just watching the scopes as they lock themselves in. VVV knows exactly what he's going to be looking at. Merit is just scanning and searching and not really able to find the same kind of value. Kami falls off the map, and Phantom Wizard will find themselves a very nice place to set themselves up on top of this bridge.
Kami actually jumps into the river over on the other side of the building as they were looking for a sneaky barrage as well. VVVV on the flank.
Confidence.
Kami out of spawn. Confidence is blooming here for VVVV, coming in here from Phantom Wizard and making a strong outing as well. If you haven't been looking at this individual for any other team to be picked up, you might want to be rethinking that one. J-Mac actually swaps over to the Wrecking Ball, looking for more pressure on a VVVV, but has to get past the Hold Hook combo, and Destiny, who swaps over to the Mei.
And from this spot, again, we've seen VVV do this, where, again, everyone just stops looking at him. He just puts himself in that courtyard, and all of a sudden he's got a free line of sight to the back line. Just farming up the infra site, waiting for that shield to go down. Won't be able to get a chance. Will reposition back towards the hotel. He's got Molly lined up, kind of crouching underneath the payload. Destiny able to get a little bit of damage done with the icicle, and then Chaser just halting everybody back towards the back end of the payload, trying to get his shield right back up. We'll be able to do, ultimates really being expended here in this one, as we'll see his nano boost get faded away. Now Destiny with the Blizzard will be able to take down one that's placed beautifully right on top of the pit. No one's really able to contest it. And again, V, not sure where he's positioned. It's still up top. No one's able to really contest them. Lynx is saying, you know what, dude, I'm done with you. Let's get the 1v1. Respect it. Let's see how this one goes. VVV. Oh, respect the 1v1.
Come on, 10-10. Respect that 1v1. It's all right, though. 10-10, again, it's been having a hell of a series. It looks very strong on this Roadhog. And, well, if there's any team that probably needs a strong Roadhog going into the 2-2-2 Roadhog, it seems to be Lingon Esports and Huya, as we have yet to see Sven really have a breakout performance on that hero alone. Has been having a really good performance on the Diva, but the Hold Hug combo, just shy of yanking out Kami from that side. So far, I mean, Lingon Esports and Huya, Merit actually swaps over to the Sombra, so it's a lot of pressure that can be found. Oh, my goodness.
That'll play absolutely nicely. So now J-Mac, again, taken down, not to his own fault this time. Just, again, more good hooks from 10-10, who has a whole hog available. Immortality field gets utilized. That means the whole hog will come through. And, well, Veet able to find himself a headshot onto Kami. And, again, the Lingon Esports just look completely disjointed when it comes to how they're going to approach this. I mean, again, J-Mac tries to offer an initiation, but nobody else from LGE were really all that interested in it, as he was, again, just punished for his positioning, pulled out. And again, now you're just looking at Merit. Maybe he's going to be the one to start things off. The only thing really available for them to initiate will be the EMP plus the minefield. But again, so far, Phantom Wizard has done a very good job of sustaining through at least the EMP.
This hamster is trapped in the back line. you just see J-Mac keep poking out. He's like, nope, not the right time. Nope, not the right time at all. But now the EMP hits from Merit, and that's the go.
It only touches two. And 10-10 has farmed himself up another whole hog. Plus, there's a Blizzard in the mix. And, well, get back into that snowy Blizzard. Will be the pull on the Sven. And again, the numbers are good for the side of Phantom Wizard. But again, the health pools are also low. It just comes down to, can they get enough sustain into the mix to keep Chaser alive? It seems like the answer is yes. He has not gone away from the back end of this payload for a single instance. And once again, Lingon Esports, their best attempts are thwarted, or so we think. Here comes the sound barrier. And as the switch comes out from J-Mac onto a Reinhardt, it looks like the damage might finally be good enough to break on through. Plus a biotic grenade from Molly hits a number of players. 10-10 will fall. Then finally, Lingon Esports able to find a bit of success in the team fight.
VVVV swaps over to the Sombra as well. There's way too much shield break for J-Mac to find true value in the Reinhardt as well. It's going to come down to the speed boost of Langsa and proper shield management from both Sven and J-Mac to push their way through the shield. But you see Chaser right there, just absolutely bulldozing over Kami. This is a spam composition from Phantom Wizard, especially with Amy on the Baptiste. You can't necessarily just walk up there for free, and then the Bionade finds two tanks as well. Leon Esports and Huya, I'm sorry, you seem lost on Rialto without a map.
And all it was Phantom Wizard dropping a supercharger, and the damage collectively was just good enough. So now the amplification matrix gets down. Chaser's going to hit a little bit harder as he shoots through that and gets an extra little bit of a sound effect boost as well. Trying to back things up. We're down to 3 seconds. You got to be able to finish the map and at least finish this stage now in overtime. J-Mac, he does have an Earth Shatter. And I was about to say, if Chaser gets out of this, that's huge mistake, but they're able to at least punish. So frontline for frontline, but J-Mac is down as the EMP came out beautifully from V. No chance for the Earth Shatter. No chance for LGE to stand guard onto this payload, you would think, based on the fact that there are no frontliners here. 10-10 continuing to hit hooks. That translocator was only a mere blink like Tracer's status, and that will do it. Phantom Wizard will take down LGE.Huya. They were able to take Team CC to 5 in week 2, and well, now they finally take down another giant in green, and that puts a major wrench into LGE's designs for playoffs. Kenobi, you looked a lot lost throughout the majority of this set, and I'm gonna let you have some time to try to find the words to explain what we just watched.
I don't know if I have the exact words that
just emotions.
Can fully, yeah, it's just, I mean, this is really I mean, really, okay, first off, credit to Phantom Wizard, who played probably the best game I've ever seen them play in Chinese Contenders, and, you know, they're not going to make playoffs because they were already out, but they came in, played like a house on fire. VVV and Destiny, that last map, absolutely dumpstered the DPS from Lingon Esports and Heurix. They put them in the ground, and it wasn't even the fact that, like, oh, they're getting helped. It's literally just 1v1s. Destiny's winning the 1v1 in the air. VVV's winning the 1v1 in the Widow. It just looked... Panda mentioned it, they're just lost. LGE does not know what to do. They look like a team who have just had to add this person, Merit. Merit looks okay on Widowmaker, had some few pop-off moments, but doesn't look as good on the Sombra. So this is a very difficult position right now for LGE.Huya to be in. They're going into playoffs. They're going into 2-2-2 lock. Sven looks okay on the Roadhog. JMac looks okay on Orisa, but it's just there's a lot wrong right now with LGE.Huya. And for Phantom Wizard, again, congratulations to them. They're going to win this. They're going to win this series and take their first map win at all. And actually, this is pretty important because now Team CC, based on the results from yesterday, are going to be the team in first. So that means they're going to be having the 4th seed from the other side. Whoever that may be at this point, I think it's going to be Light Gaming. So it's going to be Team CC versus Light Gaming, as we're going to. That's what we're going to be seeing from them in the playoff run.
And again, you know, we're just sitting here stunned as we take a look back at some of the highlights from this game at 10-10. Panda, you mentioned it in real time. He had a monster of a series through and through. It didn't seem to matter what he was playing. And I won't say that he was the sole clutch factor for the squad because, like Kenobi had mentioned, everyone really stepped up this time around. But, you know, I want to hit one more thing before we send things to a break here in a little bit to go for our third set is, you know, I don't want to sit here and say that it was just Merit that was the problem because there are a multitude of things that are going wrong for LGE, and it's hard to really pinpoint one thing in specific as far as what's going wrong. So how do you correct these things, and what do you do to most focus to get yourself ready for playoffs?
Well, listen, you got a lot of work ahead of you, Lingon Esports and Huya. You got to be working on follow-up for the EMPs. You got to be working on angles being held for your Widowmaker as well, and it just comes down to frontline oppression. As we saw JMac and Sven literally just run over. They got trampled, I'm sorry, over the Roadhog and Orisa composition. And then they swapped to a Reinhardt and Zarya to try to deal with it. That's not the play, Chief. I'm sorry. That's really not the call to being able to go into essentially a spam tank composition versus a more static composition from a Reinhardt and Zarya. And when you get the bubbles out, by the point that the Reinhardt only has 900 HP to the berry, what do you truly expect them to do? It's just compositional indifferences that Lingon Esports really need to work on, and then you can start working on your follow-up and cleanup from there.
Well, that'll conclude our second set of the day. Sorry, Kenobi. We're going to be getting ourselves ready for our third set, so we'll be heading over to that after the break. It'll be Billy Gaming going up against T1W, two teams toggling for positioning, potentially here in Group B to get themselves finished off. Again, both teams secure themselves playoffs, but LGD with their win today have put the pressure on Billy to try to capitalize and get themselves that 5-0. We'll see if they're able to do it when we come back just after this.